I'm Candace Hunter.
And I'm Sue Sierra Lupe.
And welcome Herbal Nerd Society members.
The herb of the month is nettle.
Yay for nettles. Tell me, Sue, what are the other names for nettles?
Urtica datica.
Also known as
nettle.
Urtica.
Oh.
Urtica.
There's another species, which is Urtica
urens.
U-R-E-N-S.
And the Chinese one is Junma. I looked that one up recently.
It's an herb by many names.
It's also called stinging nettle and burning nettle and probably a whole lot of foul names because it stings.
Yes, it does.
So why do we love nettle?
We love nettle because it is so darn nutritious.
It is wonderful nutrition that you can use at any age, right?
It is, yes. And the other thing about nettle that is so unusual is it has a very high iron content. It has a lot of protein. It has lots and lots of minerals. It has lots of vitamins.
It's pretty much like a multivitamin in plant form with everything completely bioavailable.
Yes, yeah. And the wonderful thing about its iron and minerals and vitamins is that it helps people regulate their energy levels. It helps them with their allergies. It helps them with all kinds of different things that are basically caused by poor nutrition.
Exactly. So nettles will really boost your energy when they're used like a multivitamin that's proper.
That's right.
Over time.
Yeah, any healthcare practitioner will tell you that most of the things that we're seeing with health conditions is caused by bad nutrition.
That's true.
So
bad nutrition's
thank you,
huge.
nettle.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, nettle.
But you got to watch out, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you are collecting nettle, and it does grow in lots of different places, it stings.
Yep.
Thus the name.
Watch out. She bites.
Yes, yeah. It has to defend itself because it's so nutritious.
It does.
So it leaves these, it has all these little prickly hairs on it, and inside the hairs are a couple of different acids. And there are a couple of different types of nettle, but they all have that signature ouch.
Yes, they do. And when you look very closely at the nettle stems in the pictures, you'll see that the little hairs are there. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the ways to tell if you're looking at nettle.
Yeah, they're very fragile, and you brush against them, then they'll break off, and they will inject in your skin that primarily the formic acid, which is in fire ants as well, and that really hurts. And
beautiful.
We had mentioned earlier, there's a couple different types of nettle, and the urens is what grows, or otherwise called burning nettle, that grows above 9,800 feet elevation, and then below is the stinging nettle that you and I harvested.
Yes, indeed.
Yep, and that's below the 9,800 foot level in kind of marshy.
Yes, in kind of marshy areas. One of the things that's important to remember is nettle is on the mint family, so it's got a square stem.
Oh, yes, it does.
And then the leaves are slightly heart-shaped, and you'll find some nettles where the leaves are more squat, so they look more like a fatter heart than others.
Right.
And then the amount of those hairs will vary. Sometimes I've found nettles where there's hardly any of the stinging hairs, and then other times I've found them where like even the leaf is loaded.
Yeah.
So it varies probably, I'm guessing, depending on the climate and area that it's growing in.
Right. But you are going to see alternate leaves. It's going to be one leaf on one side and then promptly one leaf on the other side. And then it'll kind of switch. It'll still be one leaf on one side and the other, but it'll be on the other side of the square stem.
Yep.
So very important.
So again, boggy areas will be where you'll find them at any elevation.
That's right. And the more shade there is, of course, the taller the nettle will get.
Yes.
So one of the things about collecting them is you have to be very careful because it's a boggy area, so you can get your foot stuck, there can be things under there that I've had a lot of people that I know that kind of injured themselves by not paying attention. They're so busy paying attention to the stings, they don't pay attention to the geography. So please be careful because these wet areas can be very tender. Be gentle with the other plants. You know, one of the nice things about nettle is they do protect other plants.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
so
they're good warriors.
So nettle is really great nutrition, pretty much from the roots up, right?
Indeed, yeah.
So tell me about the roots.
So the roots are harvested in the fall after the seeds have started shedding, and they're more like rhizomes actually, and they have this there's been quite a bit of research on it, but they help play a role in regulation of prostate cells. So unfortunately, one of the very common things for gentlemen to get as they age is BPH, which is, it stands for benign prostate hypoplasia. And one of the great things about nettle is it's a diuretic. So for these poor gentlemen that, they just kind of drip, drip, drip a little bit, and there's some swelling that reduces the inflammation. That's what nettle does. And it also helps as a diuretic. So you have a more complete full bladder rather than just that constant drip. And it also helps bind that testosterone.
Yes, and for men who are in their more middle-age years, where you're starting to notice your testosterone production seems to be falling off a little, you're not feeling quite as energized and virile as you once did, Nettle Root can be a nice help to help you pick up naturally through those years. Do not use Nettle Root for young men.
No, please
men
do
in
not.
their 20s and younger, no.
Right.
No.
It's a very specific treatment, and you can combine it with the nettle leaf to make it a little tastier.
Yes, and Nettle Leaf, that's the next going up the stem.
Right,
Nettle Leaf,
yeah,
Nettle
Nettle
Leaf and
Leaf.
tops, which a lot of times when they say aerial tops, they're talking mostly
Aerial
about the
parts,
leaf, but
yeah.
it can also include some stem.
That's right.
We use nettle for allergies.
Right. So this is a springtime herb to collect, and springtime is when you start getting the flowers, and people are suffering from the very allergies that this nettle, when it's time for harvest, is ready to help you with.
A lot of places I've seen, they say a lot of various herbal resources talk about using nettle because it's antihistamine. And while it is mildly antihistamine, nettle's real power is in the nutrition that it provides for your system.
Very
When
true.
your body has all the nutrients it needs, it'll be much more robust and your immune system will be less hyperactive.
That's right. And zinc is one of the wonderful things that it has in it, along with, of course, the iron and some of the other nutrition. And zinc is one of the things that people always say, please take that if you have allergies.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
there it is in 1 cup of tea.
Definitely.
How nice is that?
It's
so
beautiful.
it keeps you hydrated because you're drinking the tea, as well as helping you kind of get some of that junk out because you're going to the bathroom a lot, because it is a diuretic. And
It
it's
is.
just jam full of nutrition. So you're not depleting your resources
Right.
while you're using the diuretic qualities.
Yes, and one of the beautiful things about the tea is that it's not just for allergy season.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Particularly for people that have any kind of joint health problems, like if they have arthritis or they just start
Osteoarthritis,
yeah.
especially, when it starts to get achy and you're sore.
Yeah.
You need some
definitely.
lubrication in your joints.
It's a great anti-inflammatory. So that's one of the things that it's been used for. I think there's a lot of historic use for it. And then there's a whole bunch of research about how it really helps not only with your circulation, but it helps just reduce the inflammation that people have in their poor aching joints and
it
tendons.
it has a good complement of the calcium, magnesium, and the various other nutrients that are needed for good bone health. And they're in a form that makes it very easy for your body to absorb the maximum amount possible.
That's right.
So that's part of why it helps. It's also really good for other types of pain, like gout.
Right, which is a type of osteoarthritis, or just arthritis in general. And boy, it just really hurts people. There's a burning sensation that you get when you have gout. And it's a wonderful relief for people that have those really space-specific targeted arthritis and swelling.
Yeah, it's essentially, gout is related to kidney problems.
Yes, it
kidney
is.
depletion. So Nettles helps to rebuild that.
There's that diuretic quality again.
Yeah, so now we're moving past the aerial parts up into the seeds. The seeds are really good for the adrenal system.
The adrenal system,
They help to combat adrenal exhaustion. So the seeds will be, they're not used as prevalent. The tops. is
Right.
the main-
All of the glamour goes to the tops,
Yeah.
of course, but seeds have their role. Yeah, they're very high protein too, which is very helpful for people that have stress. Yeah. I'm really glad that and keep in mind when people are harvesting the seeds, you need to have it, it's at the end of the season, it's in the fall, and you'll see the male flowers and the female flowers are already done, and they form these nice little brown. Some people like the green seeds, but the brown seeds are what's most commonly used. So that's a good asset for all of us.
Yes, it is. For the most part, nettle doesn't have that many cautions, but there are a few.
There are some. Of course, if you're on curcumin or warfarin, any kind of warfarin products, then you have to stay away from vitamin K. And, well, nettle is full of vitamin K.
So those would be ones that you either avoid nettle or you have your levels monitored very carefully as you're introducing nettle into your diet.
Right. Please talk to your healthcare practitioner if you have that. So also if you're on a diuretic, pharmaceutical diuretic, then this is already a diuretic. So doubling those up, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you.
That's
so
true.
Again, check with your healthcare practitioner. And some people, when they're pregnant or nursing, they'll have some trouble with nettle. And it's really important that you know yourself and that you're obviously working again with a healthcare practitioner, whether that's your midwife or your clinical herbalist, to make sure that what you're doing is healthy for you.
Right. Yes. It's always wise to pay careful attention to your body. So we have a whole ton of resources at the Practical Herbalist on the Herb of the Month page for nettle. You want to scroll down when you get there.
Yeah.
The
we have a lot.
The Herbal Nerd
Recipes.
Society recipe or articles specific.
Yeah, we have the encyclopedia, we have the history, myth, and folklore page. We're covering a pretty big gamut of all of those resources. And then
the recipes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all kinds
Tons
of
of
recipes.
recipes
It's
for
all
nettle.
over the place. We have pages and pages of it because it's such a useful thing. We have it for the garden. We have information on how to appropriately pick nettle, how to store it. We have a whole bunch of different things on the different parts. And if you're a Herbal Nerd Society member, then there's some content that only you get to access.
That is true. One of the things we haven't yet done with nettle that we've tossed around was do an herbal folio for them.
That's right.
So if that's something that you're interested in, please leave a comment on the Herb of the Month page for us. Or if there's some other aspect of nettles that you'd really like us to get into, we could potentially do a webinar or we could do, extended articles.
Yeah, we are curious people.
Yeah, so if you've got something you want to learn more about nettles, please do let us know.